There it is. That was weird. Something went quite awry with my intro. That's what I get for slapping together an intro 10 minutes ago and throwing it up in there. It apparently had a very long tail on the end with just black screen and low music. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Sunday morning. Call engineering. User error in there somewhere. I somehow left a long blank spot at the end of that intro and didn't notice it until it played. So welcome to the show. Sorry for the Sunday morning snafu, but it's all right. I'm glad you're all here. So, and we're back. That's right, Susie Q. So, I was caught in the void, Morgan Snow. A little bit in limbo there this morning. So, not even a technical glitch. It was a creative glitch. I apparently left off. Here, I want to show you guys something. Let me show you how this works. I'm going to share my screen with you. Share screen. Boom. Boom. Okay, I'm going to go over here, and this is my program right here, and you'll see this. This is the program I use to create my bumps, and this is when I was recording my show. I would do that, but you see right here? Here, let's go back to the beginning of this. I'll show you. So here's the imagery, and you can play through all of this. There's the imagery, boom, 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 and right there, the music was supposed to fade out. Right there on the fade, but apparently I had a bunch of this going on. So you know what I can do? I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to split the clip, and I'm going to take that extra. It only says there's like 9 seconds there. So that's very odd. So you're supposed to visually be able to line all this. See how that all works? You line that music up with the end, which is right here at the end of the fade. All right. Now, this might be boring stuff, but hey, it's Sunday morning. We can do whatever we want to do. So I threw some of my favorite. I thought, I don't have an intro for Sunday morning. So, one of my favorites of Raini. That's, by the way, that was taken after our first 2 children. So she's happy with that too. And there's some old pictures in here. This was at Rocky Stucci's house last summer. And there's Raini and me with Obama's block of book. And Raini. Here, I'm going to play through it one more time for you here. This is how you create these things. Then you hit play. And everything comes up. There's the end, and then the music fades, and we fade to black, and it's supposed to be done right there. But it's still playing, and I'm not sure what it thinks it's playing. Oh, you know what I think it is? I'll bet you that, yep, there's a tail at the end here. Look at that. If I go all the way out here, there's old tail music. Boom. Now it should end right there. Watch. The last frame. Boom. And out. There it is. That was my mistake. Sorry about that, guys. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. There. You get a little insight into the creative lab, so to speak, for the radio show. And making bumps and intros and stuff like that. Elderberry might go fishing. I don't know yet. You got a fishing hole, Elderberry, where you go fishing? Wow. Get a sip of coffee. And Barry was here early. Yeah, good to have you here, Barry. And good morning, everybody. Good morning, Corey Blake. Good to see you. And yeah, I'm on an Apple. Sorry about that. I've been on an Apple since 1989. So there you go. And let's see. Say hi to everybody. Yeah, it's easy to not check off all the parameters. Ain't that the truth? I just displayed and sustained your theory. And good morning, Romeldian and Morgan Snow. Good to see you this morning. And Susie Q, as always. And Master Finn, the crew is on deck. Engineering is a go. Comms are a go. Awaiting your command, sir, he said. That's great. That's nice. So the crew is on deck. What's that car in your picture, Master Finn? With much regret, I have to say that Raini is not with us this morning. I just sent her toddling on her way about 15, 20 minutes ago. She has a massage to do this morning. And then she's got to go pick up the kids. We had the two little girls spent the night at Grandma's house. And Flynn wanted to stay home, and he stayed home because it was a Saturday night. He wanted to sleep down on the sofa and watch shows. And so I got up in the middle of the night. Here he is all crashed out with blankets and pillows on the sofa, and the downstairs TV still playing something. So here's your. So Raini will not be joining us today, which makes me very sad. But she did make a guest appearance, a surprise appearance at the end of Friday night's show. And so if you were watching Friday night, she came in the last few minutes and disrupted the flow of the information we were sharing on Eve, the mother of all humanities, according to the biblical story. And but that's okay. We'll just pick it up on Monday, tomorrow night. It was so nice having her in here. So, pardon me, I've got a little scratch in my throat this morning. And that's common with me. I've had a cough for about 30 years. So, and I didn't even start smoking until 20 years ago. So, there you go. It tried to boot up. It said, I'm not quite sure what that's in response to, Elderberry, but we now have the intro is now fixed. And I showed you how we make them and what we do with them. And I can now put that to bed over here. And so while we don't have Raini this morning, here, I'm just going to save this before I put it away. And let's see, intro video, boom, save. All right. So that's going. Sorry, I had to put that away. I didn't want that draining my time or my energy over here. And so just looking at the comments, does anyone have the show yet, says Elderberry? I think everybody's got the show, don't they? Can everybody see me okay? Oh, yeah, Matt saw me. Can you see the video, folks? Is anybody not seeing the video? There's the big question. Elderberry, okay, got it. Oh, okay, he's got it. There you go. Yeah, you just got to refresh. Sorry, if you're not seeing the video, just had about a minute and a half there where the video wasn't showing up. My apologies. A little glitch on my side of things. The intro ran way too long with blank stuff because what I didn't notice when I was putting it together, there was still a little clip of music way at the far end. And I didn't see it there. It had pushed it way out. And so it played for about a minute and a half with nothing. And then you heard the music low in the background. So video and audio are a go. Handsome as they get. Thank you. And I love that intro. So you know what? Just because it's Sunday morning and we're informal, I'm going to play it for you one more time. Here, for those of you who didn't see it, here is the actual morning video. Oh no, I won't do it quite yet. I'm gonna upload it. I'm gonna delete the old one and I'm gonna upload the new one, and we'll play it. Let's see. It's the what did I call it? Intro video right there. Boom. And it's only how long is it? It is 22 seconds long. Not the grueling 2 minutes that you saw. So it's just uploading now into the program, and I'll play it for you when it comes up, just for fun. So how's everybody's Sunday morning? What are you doing this morning? What's on your minds this morning? How are you with the world, with politics, with COVID, with politics and COVID seem to go hand in hand these days. How are you doing with everything that's going on around you? How's your work? How's your world? How's the mask situation for you where you live? How is all this stuff going on with you? Are you finding, we don't like talking about politics as much. We do every now and then on here. And the things that some of you might think are political on this show, sometimes I like to get into current events, or I like to talk about civics. I like to talk about government, the way we interact with things. Because why? Because they affect our daily lives. And so we talk about daily stuff. Remeldian wants it all to go away. Wouldn't that be nice? How's your book coming along, Remeldian? I know you had some writer's block a while back, and Remeldian's writing some books that he can tell you more about it. He's channeling some things, and Motherella's been working with him. Some books on creation and the beginning of time and all of that stuff. So that'll be very interesting. I've had a couple of conversations with Remeldian on that. Let's see. For a little while, Matt Finn was the only one live on Elderberry's chat. That's good. And Teresa, good to see you. You're dressed, so that must count for something, huh? We weren't for a while there, just staggering around. Rainey's alarm went off for her at, I didn't wake up early today. I take that back. Yes, I did. My body always wakes me up around 4:30, 4:45. Sometimes I get up, sometimes I lay there for an hour trying to go back to sleep. And that never works. My mind gets full of stuff. And so I didn't wake up till her alarm went off this morning at about, let's see, she had to leave here at about 8:45-ish. I think she has a 9:30 massage, so she's not technically even starting the massage for about 13 more minutes. Hey, Audrey, good to see you over there on the left coast. Nice to have you here. And so I'm glad that you all made it in. But anyway, I woke up then. My face still isn't awake. What is that? It takes like half the day for my face to wake up. I'm not sure what that's all about. But here, now that it's uploaded, for those of you coming in late, those of you who experienced the little time glitch with our intro, even though I brought you in and showed you in the studio how we create those things, I'm going to play for you all right now the brand new intro. And you know why there was a mistake in it? Because I did it at the last minute. I sent Rainey on her way, and I thought, I got about 13 minutes before the show. I'm going to throw this quick montage of photos together and put an intro up. And that's why I missed the tail end of it, extending out for a minute and a half, whatever it was. So, you guys ready? Here is the new Sunday morning intro. I may beef it up. I may do something with it. But here we go. Watch this. And boom, that's all it was supposed to be. There it is, folks. It's fixed. It's loaded. If I don't do anything with it or find time to do anything with it before next Sunday, that is what you will see here at the beginning of the Sunday morning show. So there you go. And thank you, Teresa. It is awesome because it's full of Rainy. So Rainy, my wife, my beautiful woman, the one I've been with for 16 years, sometimes frustrating, sometimes aggravating, sometimes needs a boot in the butt, but I'm worse than that. So there you go. Thank you, Audrey. And you know how married life is, everybody who's married, or if you've been in permanent relationships or long relationships, you know what it's like. And so sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's rocky, sometimes it's mountaintop, sometimes you're on cloud 9. So I love my wife. I would not picture my life without her. And no matter the ups and the downs and the roller coaster because in and through it all, we love each other. And that's what's amazing about it. So Matt Finn says, oh, I know. So Your hands are full of avocado or guac, field guy. Hey, Mary. Good to see you. I saw somebody else say hi to you. I didn't see you come in. Good to see you this morning. Susie Q, tomorrow is your 24th wedding anniversary. Well, congratulations. That's amazing. You know, the first time I was married to a woman that was my college sweetheart. And we were best friends in college. And, it all turned into, we lived in a little different paradigm. I was going to Bible college. I was going to be a minister. And I met her at Bible college, and her parents sent her to the same Bible college. Very strong church family. Her dad was a deacon in the church and helped run the church. And her three older brothers were all in ministry. And so that's where we came from. And so while, we made out and stuff like that, we didn't do the premarital sex thing. We didn't, that was our belief system, and we avoided that. And although we got really darn close a couple of times. So to say, in the true confessions, maybe, to say that we didn't fool around, we fooled around. We did the typical stuff, but we were just, when you think of it, nowadays, most of us in here who are over 30, we look at college kids between the ages of 18 and 22, and we say, man, what kids? They're kids. But that's when my first wife, Suzanne, and I met. And so we were married on May 28th of 1982. So next year would have been our 40th wedding anniversary. That's how old I am. And now she and I were divorced in 88. And we were married for about 6 years, divorced in 88. And I've told the story about her a few times. And she just one day came home. She was a exec at IBM, and I was doing what I do now. I was an illustrator and designer, and I worked in my home. And I had a couple of jobs in and out of graphics houses and ad agencies during that time. And she came home one day, went to bed from a red-eye flight, got up, sitting in her robe in the living room, and announced that she wanted a divorce, and she wanted it mutual. And it was over. And 5 weeks later is the time it took to go through the court system. I didn't challenge it, nor did I. The advice I got from my pastor, he said, don't challenge it. He says, but you don't have to sign it either. And I didn't sign it. Minnesota was a no-fault divorce state, so it was over in 5 weeks. And boom, done, gone. And she and I think she stopped by I rented a townhome after that. And she stopped by one time to pick up a box of stuff, and we talked for a few minutes that same summer and of 1988, I'm sorry. And I never heard from her again, never saw her again. We didn't have kids. We didn't share property anymore. She got the house and blah, 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 and it was over. I didn't see her. This is the woman who I said, after Rainey and I were married in 2007, and sometime in 2008, I got a phone call. So we're talking 1998. I'm sorry. What year would it have been? 1988. We were divorced in August of 88. And sometime in the spring of 2008, I get a call on the phone. So it's been 19, almost 20 years. And I had not seen this woman for all that time. And I get a call on the phone, and I recognized her voice, which was funny. So the first thing she said was, I'll bet you don't know who this is. And I said, I'll bet you I do. I said, Suzanne, how you doing? I said, what's it been, 20 years? And we got to talking, and she said that she had been an alcoholic and that she had gone through treatment. And now in between that, I had been married a second time. Let's see, in 88, we were divorced. In January of 89, I met Annette, the mother of my 3 older children. And we were married at the end of that year, December of 89. And we were married for 11 and a half or 12 years and divorced. And you all know the sordid tale there. And then I was on my own I won sole custody of my kids, which was finally, we were separated in late 1999, 2000. And we went to custody court and all of that. And by 2001, I had won sole custody of my 3 children. Sam was not quite a year old when it happened. And my daughters were between 9 and 10 years old. And so they all came to live with me. And then I met Raini 4 years after that. 5 years after that. Well, 2005. And so that's kind of that timeline there. So the reason I brought all that up, Susie Q, 24 years tomorrow. Congratulations. Happy anniversary. And that made me think I would have been married. My first wife and I had stayed married. There'd be no Raini. There'd be no Flynn. There would be none of my kids. Because we found out later my first wife couldn't have children. So I wouldn't have any of my 6 children had Suzanne and I stayed married. And but we would have been married for 40 years next year. And you know what? After that phone call she made in 2008, I invited her and her family out to, now she got remarried, but here was the kicker, and I've told this story before. She found out she was lesbian, and she married a woman back probably 15 years ago now. It was before I met Raini, but I didn't know any of this about her, and she revealed that all to me, and in that first conversation, and she said, I went through the 12-step program with my alcoholism, and 7 years ago when she called me in 2008, and she said, I went through that program. She said, one of the steps is you're supposed to make amends to people. And she said, you were the last person on my list. And she said, I've been holding off on this call for almost 7 years. She said, because I was so nervous as to how you'd react. And she said to me, I put you through hell. I did some terrible things to you, and I need to apologize for that. And I said, Suzanne, I said, that's all in the past. It's all ancient history. Pardon me, I got an itch back in my throat. And I said, I've only got one question for you. After all of this, I said, are you happy? And she said, I am. I said, then I'm happy too. I said, forgiveness? I said, that happened 20 years ago. I said, now we can be friends again. And you know what? We're still friends to this day after she made that phone call. She came out with her family to our Raini's and my first anniversary when we moved out to the ranch. She came out for a big bonfire and a cookout we had there. And so there you go. So reconciliation can take many forms. Why did she call me after 20 years, Mary? It was she said because she had some amends to make to me. And she wanted to touch base. And there was nothing untoward about it. It was all a beautiful, wonderful, nice thing. So there it is. A well-recovered magnet. Thank you, Teresa. And a woodpecker with a barn owl, said Teresa. So I don't know if that was in league with what you were saying here, but there you go. So anyway, happy anniversary, Susie Q. And so, hey, thanks everybody for showing up this morning. That's kind of neat. I'm glad you're here. Now, remember, Sunday morning is a time where we get informal, and we don't do a whole lot of getting into things too deep. Sometimes we do. I love having Raini here on Sunday mornings because we can talk about cool stuff. And I was going to look at, there was something Sarah Soderlin put up this morning. I'm sorry, I got that little tiny itch way back there in my throat this morning. It's like dry throat. And so I'm looking to see, no, that's not the right Sarah Soderlin. How about that? I was looking up her her thing because I wanted to. There was something she put up that I thought would be kind of fun to talk about. Here it is. Sorry, I do have a mute button now, and I could use it, but I'm in a different program looking up her article. See, watch. Here's my mute button. There you go. There you go. There was my mute button. Yeah, I need to put some honey back on my throat. So I thought coffee would do it, and it's not working. Hey, Lucky Stone. Good to see you this morning. Yeah, I'll get some honey. That's something I know John Ward had me doing that when I was in Egypt. He said, take honey, just let it roll down the back of your throat slowly. And I just said the 7 dirty words. Who said those? Field guy, the 7 dirty words. Yeah, I finally have a mute button. Yeah, I said them all during the mute. So yeah, in this program with the StreamYard that field guy introduced me to, and and I've been using, it's got a mute button on my mic. So that's nice. So chug olive oil. Yeah. If that's anything like castor oil, I'll puke it up. So what did Audrey say? I finally have a mute button. Yes, that's very true. Need honey. Spoon of honey. That's Scotty Roberts, says Susie Q. There it is. So I'll give that a try. And we'll see what happens. It just feels like it's like right back, you know, is it called a uvula or whatever, that little thing that hangs in the back of your throat. And it feels like it's right up behind that. I actually think at 60 years old, I need my tonsils out because I feel it in my right tonsil sometime. So blah, blah, blah. Who cares about that? One thing I've noticed is the older we get, we talk more about our physical ailments than we did when we were kids. So Raini and I, speaking of that, Raini and I were hanging out with our neighbors last night. Good friends. You've met them on this show. They've staggered into my house at times. John and Brianna, and they came over a couple of times. Got on the radio show. You've seen John, but they did a little cooking out on his new grill for Father's Day. He got early Father's Day gift, and so we went over there last night, and we have a big picnic table, a big ass picnic table in our backyard, and it's one of those. Big white, I think it's wood. It's painted white, but with the metal frame, it's like almost like a city park table. And they needed a table. They were setting up in their driveway across the street. And I said, hey, I got folding tables in the garage. I'll just go get one. And John said, no, let's just drag the picnic table over. I said, that thing is heavy. And Rainey was even like, don't do it, John. It's too heavy. And of course, John wanted to show off his manly prowess, his physical prowess, and he went over and he just got underneath it and lifted it up on his shoulders and walked it over. I could do that. I used to be able to do that when I felt like my body was actually in good shape. And I always did that. I always threw stuff on my back and my shoulders and sofas. You just do it. So he carried that over. And but it's funny. The difference is I'm 60, Rainey's 41, and John and Bree are 28 and 27. And when we get to talk, and we're all good friends, Rainey and Brianna talk all the time. John comes over and hangs out. And so we see them all the time. And their little tiny kids play with our little tiny kids. And so we hang out and we don't realize the age difference. Because, I was making the comparison. I said, do you realize my twin daughters are older than both of you guys? You guys could be my kids. And so that's come up a couple of times just in laughing. But other than that, we all treat each other like equals, except John at 28 believes I'm old and frail at 60. No. You don't have to help. I got it. I'm like, dude, I can lift a picnic table. He said, I got it. Your heart. You got a heart thing. I go, yeah, I'm not going to die of a heart attack moving a picnic table. I don't think, knock on wood. And so Audrey's got to run. The dude wants to have breakfast on the docks. Have a beautiful Sunday, everyone, and a fabulous week. Love you all. Says Audrey. Audrey, you have a fun time with the dude and over on the docks having breakfast. Have a Bloody Mary or something, or a mimosa. Mimosa. That's right. It's only, 7:30 out there, so you're nice and early for breakfast. So you have a good time. See you, Audrey. Love you, too. Lots. Love you long time. And so there you go. What was that field guy? Turmeric something? Golden milk. Turmeric and milk. What is that supposed to be for throat or something? Turmeric supplements, says Matt Finn. Seems to minimize inflammation for me. Interesting. See, I don't know this health food stuff. Rainey looks up some of it and gets with it. She's gluten free and all that, and sometimes to the annoyance factor. But I gotta get more health foodie, I guess. And now that I'm 60, I suppose I should be health foodie and doing the right things and eating the right things. That's really bright up there. Let me flip that around. There you go. All right. So, yeah, health food, turmeric, blah, blah, blah. Turmeric helps inflammation and such. I drink it almost every day, says Field Guy. Well, maybe I'll give that a try, too. I mean, you put me on to StreamYard. Maybe turmeric, you can put me on a turmeric, and I'll see what that's like. So, oh, by the way, if anybody wants to come in and join me, since we don't have the Rainy with us this morning, I always like to put the article in front of her name. The Rainy is not with us. Here, boom, there's the link. Should show up in the chat room now. So if you want to join in, anybody, and share your thoughts, come on in and just talk. Sunday's informal. And almost as informal as the last 15 minutes of the show on Friday when Rainey came in. Rainey, if you listen back to that show, by the way, when she walked in my door, the door is on that side of the room. She walks in the door and she smiles and lets out a huge belch. If you didn't hear that live, when I was reviewing it, just to see if that picked up, it did. And then she walked over here and she was all sassy. And so there you go. Elderberry says, oh, well, they love them little docks with restaurants in Cali. My dad dragged me to one. I was thinking I was likened to the East Coast, and it's not. You know what I get a picture in my mind of, and I've never done this. I get a picture of a really cool place, I think, to live or to enjoy life would be like Key West. Now, I hear Key West sucks, so maybe Key Largo, some of those places. Maybe it was a bit romanticized by Jimmy Buffett songs or something like that. You get that easy in the islands type of feel about it. And so it's actually black pepper activates turmeric. Belch, says Teresa Tantone. Yeah, that was funny. So burp scratches butts. Yeah. So anyway, so I don't know where I was going with any of that. We had a fun time last night. Oh, I was talking about how, they're younger than us, but, can lift things. And I think the younger people think that when you hit your 50s and your 60s, that you're on death's door. You're on death road, death just ahead. And so I'm not decrepit by any chance. I'm just out of shape. I spent a couple of years because of the heart and the hip surgeries and stuff like that. You all know that. I spent a couple of years getting fat and ugly and nasty and out of shape and, muscles atrophying and just no oomph, no core anymore of power, physically speaking. And so that held me up for a while. And, I'm working on it. Trying to get it back. It'd be nice to be able to go pick up a sofa again and carry it. And I did not long ago. I put my head in the cushions and carried it on my head down the street. And so I still got a little core power, phenomenal cosmic power. And so anyway, so by the way, folks, if you want to call in, you can. It's not because I can't talk for an hour and a half or so. It's that if you want to call in, here we are. So Field Guy said my body started breaking down when I was 36. If mine started breaking down when I was 36, I met Raini when I was 44. So I'd have been in tough shape for her. I was in good shape when I met her when she was 24. And so we had, 24-year-olds usually don't go for old, decrepit guys unless they're multi-billionaires and they're 90. So there you go. Hey, we got Romeldian is here this morning. Let's bring him in. How you doing, Romeldian? Good to see you.
Good.
I should probably find my headset so we don't get feedback. What's going on with you this morning? You writing this morning?
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna wait till I get down to Sedona because I'm getting so many chapters
Sure. Hey, I'm only
downloaded
seeing half of your face. You should tip your camera down
like
so we can
this.
see you a little bit. There you go. There you go. Let people see you.
Yeah, the downloads I'm getting are way past the first chapter, so yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
getting like pages at a time, and most of the time they're always being downloaded at work, so it's like
Yeah.
I'm nowhere near a recorder or pen and paper to write them, so it's like, oh,
Yeah.
crap.
Do that. You should take a little pad of paper and a pen with you and have it in your back pocket or something all the time. Because when you get ideas, just scratch them down.
Yeah, that's what Walker and Monterello said to do, because I'm getting so much at once.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like watching a movie than it
Or
is
yeah,
having,
or get one of these. Get one of these babies, a little tape recorder. We use this for paranormal investigating. You just click that on and talk your thoughts as you're going.
And how do you download? How do you put that in email then?
You probably don't. You probably have to transpose it. You got to listen to it and type it out. But that's just a fast way to get your thoughts down. Like if you're writing a book, you want to just grab one of these and go, I got this idea. Here it is. Put the date on it. Hey, it's Sunday. It's May 23rd, 2021. Here's my thoughts on the book. Boom. You put them down and you listen to this and then you transpose it into type later. And then you got it. So there you go. Doug
Yeah,
Stack is in the room, by the way. Hey, Doug Stack. Good to see you, brother.
yeah. I didn't think this book would actually be very emotional.
Yeah, I'm sure it can be.
I didn't realize I had this connection at all. At all.
Right.
I was trying to figure out why I'm writing this book, and it turns out it's for a soul clearing.
Very interesting. Just do it. Just do it. Don't even worry about why you're doing it, why you have the
No,
thoughts.
it's actually got a lot easier to channel. So
That's good. That's good.
especially
And
when I clear out my own persona, it makes it a whole lot easier.
now, when you're channeling, how do you know the difference between your imagination and your own thoughts and channeling? What's the difference for you? How can you tell when you're channeling?
It sounds more feminine.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's someone else talking me to there that I wouldn't normally say.
Yeah.
It's like I feel more confident. There's a lot more sexiness to the voice. Whoever's talking through me, it's like,
Sexy.
I mean, that's how she was. So
Sure.
It's
Sure.
like there's more confidence in there. There's a lot
So,
more. I would
who do you believe you're channeling when you get that voice?
usually Lilith.
Lilith. That's
Yes.
pretty damn straight to some source material there.
Hmm.
If you're actually channeling Lilith, that's pretty bad.
I feel the energy very strongly with her, so we have a very personal connection, not just back then, but also in many past lives.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, pardon 1 second. Mike Yehudi! Good to see you, brother. Shazam, he says. He just came into the room. So,
No, I
Matt,
always love it when the hosts do that.
yeah, there you go. Matt Finn says, that's why I believed I challenged that. Did you mean channel it, Matt Finn? From ancestors. There it is. And so here, we'll just put this up from Teresa Yehudi. Mike, and let me just say, Romeldine, while I've got you, I got to say to Mike Yehudi, you know where that came from? Did I ever explain that on the show?
No, I don't think you
I
have.
started yelling at Mike Yehudi when he'd come into the room and go, Yehudi! You know where that came from? Watch the opening scenes from the movie Gladiator, where they're at the Black Forest in Germany, Germanica, whatever, and they're fighting.
Is that
And
a good
they
movie?
sent an envoy before the beginning of the movie, and apparently the envoy came back tied to his horse, headless, running into camp, and they'd cut off his head. The Germanic peoples that they were fighting, and they all came out of the woods and they're yelling. And I don't know what the guy was saying because they didn't give subtitles, but like the leader of the Germanic peoples they were fighting, the barbarians, they came out and he's holding the guy's head in his hand and he's yelling and he says something like something like that. And when I first saw Mike Yehudi's name, I heard the Yehudi in my head. Now that might not even be what he said. Germania, there it is, Matt Finn. So
Sounds
Mike,
like a good movie.
what's that?
Sounds like a good movie.
You've never seen Gladiator?
No, I have not.
Russell Crowe.
I don't watch movies that often.
Great classic heroic movies. I think that was made. It was a Ridley Scott movie that came out. God, folks, I think that was 20 years ago now, doesn't it? It seems so weird to say that it was that long ago.
Yeah, I remember when it came out. I just never saw it. I wasn't really into
Excellent movie.
Going into movies.
Yeah, you got to see. If you haven't seen it, rent it. Watch it on. I think you got to pay for it on Netflix or Amazon Prime or something like that. But go get it and see it, and you'll enjoy it. And it's a good man. It's a man's movie, yes, but it's a heroic movie. It's about the classic heroic. And
Nice.
So go watch that.
Yeah, I look forward for the book illustration too.
For the what?
Book illustration. No, I mean, I've been trying to get a hold of you for the book illustration.
Oh, book illustration.
Yeah, I've been trying to get a hold of you.
Get a little more information for you on that. We'll talk about that off air.
All right.
We can do an illustration. I just finished one. I finished an illustration yesterday. Here, folks, I showed you the illustration. Here, I'm going to share my screen, and I'll show you what that thing ended up looking like. And you can take a look at this. Now, this might be a different style than I used for yours, Romeldian. But hang on. I'm dickering around with my programs back here. Let me get over here. I'm going to share my screen. So everybody listening, this is, let me share it. Boom, there's my screen. Now back here, over in Photoshop, there's the illustration I just finished. Totally different thing than what you're looking for, Romeldian, but different styling probably. But this is a guy who's creating board games, sophisticated board games, and adult level board games. And he was doing this one, Legends of the Spanish Main, on piracy, the classic golden age of pirates. And he wanted to see two ships out there and stuff. And I said, let's bring them closer in. And so here you've got the two ships and the logo I designed for his game. And so that's how that all turned out yesterday. Speaking of illustration. So there you go. I'll stop sharing my screen now. Boom, we're back.
Looks amazing.
Well, thank you.
Definitely gives off that era.
Yeah, trying to. And so, yeah, we'll talk about your illustration. We'll get it going here and figure out what all you want and how we can go about it and so on. So we'll work on that. So we'll talk this week and see if we can nail that down.
All right.
Robert V is in the room. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Favor to you all, he says. Thank you.
Yeah, the hair color is going to be kind of difficult to do because she's always changing her hair color. So
she's a chick. What do you expect? Lilith, the chick of chicks, the dame of dames, the broad of broads.
Yeah, I can usually tell it's her voice and not my voice because, yeah, there's an easily. Yeah, I usually know how to.
Now, how do you balance out? Because didn't Lilith, her being before Eve with Adam, according to old rabbinic legends and tales, Wasn't Lilith also supposed to be kind of dark and evil?
Dark was just more of her nature.
Yeah.
It's more like think of Mozzarella. You
Yep.
know how she dark kind of.
Motherella's not dark. I don't see her as dark like Lilith. I don't see Lilith and Motherella.
Well, they're
No.
aspects of each other, so.
So yeah, there you go. There's that. Well, cool.
Yeah,
Well,
I guess you, in one person's view, I guess you can say she was a little bit dark. Just a
yeah,
little bit more open to her sexuality than what
sure.
we would consider in our modern era.
Yeah.
I,
How so? How would you say? What is open to sexuality? What does that look like to you?
I guess they were more open to talking about it. More,
Okay.
it was just their culture. It was just normal for them to. You kind of wore what you like wearing. You basically express your sexuality and your creativity.
Yeah. Susie Q said, "I wish you wouldn't call Lilith a broad. She's the moon goddess." Susie Q, I'm just making fun. You know the way we do. We make fun of God. We make fun of Jesus. We make fun of Mary. And I'm not making fun and mocking her. I'm just saying, it's like just using. Didn't mean to offend anybody who's a follower of Lilith, but she's a god. How do we know she exists the way we think she exists? Remeldian channels her. My big question, if I was channeling Lilith, my big question would be, how do I know I'm channeling Lilith? How do I know it's not somebody else?
I think it's for me. I've been always been trying to connect with her since my awakening.
That's good. Go ahead.
I think it's kind
there you go. Corey says
it's kind of like missing an old friend that you know for ages, and you just want to reconnect. You know their energy. It's like you know you're not doubting the energy. You know it too well.
And that's good. Maybe it's all doubt. It's what you accept. It's what you believe in. I'm not saying you're not channeling Lilith. I would just be asking myself that question.
No, I had those very same questions back in while I was in confirmation. How do you know the difference between an angel and a demon? Who you were talking to?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, how will you know the difference?
That's my question to you. How do you know the difference?
I'm hearing things where it's like things I wouldn't normally say.
Yeah.
Things that kind of sound far off. that I would normally question. Like, really? We did that together?
Yeah.
Which is why I like confirming with Mozzarella, who I believe has a much stronger connection because she's been doing this more often.
Sure.
I grew up,
and I like Motherella. I think she's onto something.
I think it's just my culture and how I was raised that I'm just trying to get used to channeling again. So it's like I'm not used to all this psychic stuff. I didn't grow up on it. I just knew what pop culture knew.
Yeah.
And my family just was not really accepting of it. I'm the only one in the family who really has a open mind to like spirits and all that.
Sure.
I even tried telling my family. I talked to my dad after he died. It's like, yeah, I got no response from them.
Sure. I've got Corey Blake says the Jewish faith is not so fond of Lilith. Then again, there are many who claim to be Jews. And that's what I had heard, Corey, in rabbinic teachings that Lilith doesn't have a sterling reputation. It doesn't say she isn't powerful and all that. It just means that, and you got to be careful. I understand that, and that's like when I refer to Lilith as a chick, a broad, a babe, a babe from Babylonia. That's Wayne and Garth, by the way. Didn't catch that reference. Roger Rabbit here in the room, by the way. Hey, Roger, good to see you. It's two sides of the coin, two sides to the coin. says Corey Blake. On all that, I believe you. So, hey, for those of you coming in, by the way, I'm going to paste it one more time. There's the link to the show today. If you want to call in, it's Sunday morning. It's informal. We're talking about nothing and everything all at once. We don't have Rainy with us today, so we got to make do. So, Remeldian, I appreciate the fact that you called in. Good luck on writing your book and stuff. We'll talk a little bit more about this illustration you'd like to have, and we'll see what we can do about that. And
just try to make sure it's in the morning. I work.
Okay.
Just try to make sure it's in the morning because I work at night. So.
Sure. Try to call me in the morning. If I don't pick up, it's because I'm buried in something else. Just leave me a message.
Yeah, that's what I usually figured that you were doing. You're kind of busy with family or at work.
Well, I'm sitting here working on stuff usually, or I'm with a client or something. So, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for calling in, brother. All right, back to just me. So, context is everything. This is Corey Blake. I believe you. That's true. To understanding, context is the key to understanding. Exactly. It's like I've said, in a lot of the old scriptural tales. It's all about context. It's all about who the author was writing to, what they were writing about, what the people they were writing to would have understood in their time and day. So I agree. So there you go. If anybody else wants to come in and be a surrogate Rainy on the show, call in. We got time, and we're just doing our thing over here. So. Elderberry and Doug are talking about Walmart and going to Walmart. Really? Now, Corey Blake, I didn't know this. They teach the kiddos to be good, or Lilith will come and get you at night. Is that just an adulteration of the mythology? Was there ever anything in her legends and the stories and the mythologies of Lilith that she would come and get you if you were bad? I thought that was like the Krampus. So, or the devil. So did Lilith take the place of like a female devil, a female evil spirit? Who was she supposed to be? And so here's Field Guy. Let's bring him in. How you doing, Field Guy? How you doing?
I'm alive.
Right on. That's good to know. You and your turmeric?
I dropped that earlier. I do a combination of stuff. It's weird.
Yeah.
I didn't get into this health kick until a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Everything started falling apart, and I was like, well, it's probably because I don't do exercise enough.
Yeah. By the way, Susie Q says, I respect Lilith like I respect the Creator. I even have a respect for the Abrahamic God, but I serve no one. I reserve the right for service. It needs to be voluntary. There you go, Susie Q. That's the key to all of it.
Sure, I agree. I don't know what it means, but I agree.
I can't tell you Lilith doesn't exist or that she's not there, that she's not a goddess. Maybe she was a goddess. Look at the Virgin Mary in Catholicism. For anybody who's Catholic out there or might be Catholic, wasn't the Virgin Mary venerated to the point of where she really became the surrogate to the old goddess in Christianity? Is Mary the goddess of Christianity, certain aspects of Christianity? So there it is. So I don't know. What do you think, Field Guy?
About what? Virgin Mary?
Goddesses? You think there's any gods or goddesses?
There's something. Thor? I don't know. There's something. Has to be something. I'm not really a religious person, so I'm not like an atheist or anything, but
sure,
there's got to be something. So I don't know.
There we got Matt Finn in this morning too. Hey, Matt.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you face to face.
Yeah, man.
Sitting out in your gazebo.
I am. I'm in my gazebo.
That's what my grandma used to call it. Let's go sit in the gazebo.
Yeah.
Hey, give that shot of your deck again. Let's see that deck. Look at that deck. Going and stretching all the way back there. Nice. Looks like you're at a hotel or something. You got a hotel deck on your house.
It took a lot to get here, Captain, but I'm telling you, buddy,
Yeah?
you can do it.
That's your new house, right?
Yeah, this is a new house.
He
Obvious.
stole a tree.
Yeah. How many trees died for Matt Finn's deck?
A
Matt
lot,
Finn
but I
says,
planted 18 of them, so it's all
there you
good.
go. And you know what? Matt Finn comes out to his deck and he honors the trees that gave their lives for his deck.
Yes,
And,
there was many that gave their lives for the house as well.
I'll bet. And, you know, and I don't have a problem with that.
Oh, here's my little girl,
Hey, little girl. What's her
Evelyn.
name?
Evelyn.
Evelyn. Hi, Evelyn. I'm Scotty. That's Field Guy over there.
Yeah, you can see a little bit. It's a little dark on the screen because we're outside, but
You should get together with my little girls.
oh, she knows Ellery.
Oh, she knows Ellery.
Oh yeah, we've
Now-
she's seen her.
How old is Evelyn?
Almost 5.
Almost 5. Yeah, and Ellery is 6.5.
Oh, this might come mommy over here. Oh, the little man too. Here,
Oh,
let me
is
turn
mommy
the camera.
coming too? Let's see.
Not mom, but the little
Oh, come on, Mom.
I don't
Field
know.
Guy, I'm gonna let you go because I want to blow Matt up a little bit here.
Where is he?
Okay.
See you, brother. Let's see. Here we go. There's the little guy.
Oh, he's zooming. He's fast.
Yeah, I'll bet.
He's
Oh,
carrying his
Part of
knife.
Mom.
He's
I saw
carrying.
Mom's feet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just said I saw Mom's feet.
Oh yeah, no, mom is in her nightgown. Let's say.
Even better.
Not that kind of nightgown.
Oh, okay. No,
More
no.
like more like the old lady nightgowns.
I was gonna say no mad lingerie on the deck.
Quick,
What'd you say?
she's
there she
back
is.
there.
Hey,
It's like a long t-shirt.
like a long T-shirt. Those are cool.
Well, that's what she thinks.
It's very airy.
Yeah, it's cool, right? Airy.
Very airy. Let's see. Oh, I thought somebody was saying something. Mom is the Peanuts teacher.
The peanuts.
Oh, that's what Doug Stack said. I get it. Mom's just the voice in the back.
Product placement.
Hey, there it is. Oh, how'd that
Product-
happen?
Product placement.
Look at that. All right. I hope the coffee tastes better in it.
Oh yeah, it's better. Same coffee, different cup, not as good.
The rum always tastes better in this.
Wow, yeah.
Speaking of that, my coffee's getting cool. I'm gonna have to warm my coffee here pretty soon. By the way, Morgan Snow says if you want to know about Lilith, check out Wayne Steiger's YouTube channel. He has a whole series on the subject. You know, maybe we should do a series on the show on Lilith.
I
That might
agree.
be interesting. I've talked about her. I've hit on her, not hit on her, like, hey, Lilith, how you doing? Not that kind of hitting. I've hit on her in topics before, but maybe we should try to look a little bit in depth about her, because you know that's one of those aspects that Christianity doesn't cover. You don't hear about Lilith at all. I never heard about Lilith till I was 20 years out of Christianity. So
I like the connection with Lilith and the other people.
yes,
That
I
seems
think
to be for me something that makes a lot of sense.
yes, I think it does too. And it starts to make sense. And you know, you look at all this stuff. What do you think of this, Matt? Being somebody who came out of Christian faith, I haven't totally abandoned Christian faith. I just don't practice it at all the way it was taught to me, the way I was educated, because I'm finding there's a lot more information out there. And there's a lot more that we haven't been taught. And Christianity will tell, well, that's because God has only revealed and put into the canon of Scripture the things that we needed for our faith and practice. Well, what if there's more out there and it's just people who decided that for us? Why is somebody else deciding that? How do we know God imbued that person to write that book for God's purpose? We don't know that for sure. And
The way I look at it is that humanity and corruption go hand in hand.
Yes.
And how do we really know without being there that wasn't a corrupted, in the interpretations and all that kind of stuff. So
Right.
For
I
me,
agree
I've
with
never
you.
been a real traditionalist Christian, although I do believe that Jesus did exist historically.
Me too.
Um, and I guess his teachings for me would kind of signify what it takes for you to transcend into the next spiritual level. So for
Yes.
me, it's kind of a mixture of Christianity and maybe a little bit of New Age stuff. But for me, faith is personal.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
The thing about that is that with all the questioning I do, all the research I do, all the thinking like that I do, there's still those old tendrils of the fundamental conservative Baptist Christianity that come up and say, well, that's just the devil. That's just the devil trying to lead you astray. And all the thoughts and imaginations of mankind are evil only continuously, the Bible tells us. And so all of that stuff, it plays in. It gnaws at the back of your head sometimes. And it's like, what if it all is just demonic? It's all Satan trying to divert people's attention from God and so on. And but then you find out Satan isn't even who we've been taught he was. You start looking at it. It was a title. It was the deceiver. It was a title, the Satan. He comes up as in the book of Job with the article. That's why I call Raini the Raini. And so it's a title.
I think it's certainly possible. You know, I don't try to dispel anybody's understanding of religion or faith, and they could be right. I could be wrong. And that's why I kind of gravitate maybe toward more of an agnostic kind of theology where I'm not sure, nor can I really be sure.
And that's where I'm at. I can't be sure. It's like let's take it down to a mundane thing, not really involved too deeply with spirituality unless you make the connection. But it's like ghost hunting. You can get a voice. You can talk to somebody. You can have sometimes conversations with these entities. And you go, that said it was the ghost of my dead aunt, the spirit of my dead aunt. But then you sit back and you go, how do I know that for sure? Because somebody else will tell you, well, that's just somebody trying to play a trick on you, some evil force trying to play tricks on you. And you go, well, who's right? Who's true? Who's right? And usually we have a spirit of being able to discern these things. You kind of know, like Corey Blake just said. Here, I'll put that up again. You will know the devil when you see him, he said. And I think, is the devil an actual person? I said, if the devil is Lucifer, was Lucifer one of the Elohim? Was he Nakash in the garden? Was he? There's no way to prove these things. And,
it could be humanity's trying to wrap their head around, especially for ancient man who has a limited understanding of how things are in the world around him. It may have just been an embodiment of evil, bad doings, the black, the darkness of night. In me, duality seems to permeate every aspect of our universe.
Yes.
So did man try to wrap his head around and grasp that dark side of the world and try to personify him into a figure? I certainly think it's possible.
Yeah, I think it's possible too. Elderberry says, I don't give energy to these made up things anymore. There's the big question, Elderberry. How do we know what's made up versus what is passing on real information? I was going to take it back to ghost hunting for a second. If I experience something, now I know I don't do ghost hunting high or drunk. I'm not too out there, I'm not too weird about the things I believe in or think about. Maybe the topics are weird to some people, but the exploration of them is not. And my door just closed.
There you go.
That was either my son. Oh, it was you. Okay. I didn't even see you. I just saw the door close and click. So how do we know what's made up and what isn't made up? We don't.
Well, Well, if anything, what if 2020 and 2021 has taught us is that people perceive their own realities. And how do you know you're not
Yes.
basing your reality on somebody else's perception of their reality?
Right. Right. That's the big question. And we sat in church for the longest time, and we'd hear the pastor preach, or in some of my seminary classes, Bible school, and you'd hear all this stuff being talked about it as if it was so. This is like, I listened to some of the Bigfoot believers, like Matt Moneymaker and some of these guys. They talk about Bigfoot in the same way we talked about Christianity and spirituality. It's like, now we know that Bigfoot likes to sleep in huddles, and they make these little nests out of the grass, and we know they eat deer. And I'm like, how do we know that? I'm a believer in Bigfoot, that he exists, but how do we know these things if we've never been able to research them? We only research the leave behinds that we think are Bigfoot. And yeah, and by the way, Corey Blake says the devil knows us intimately. How is this so? There's another big question. How do we know that? Because somebody told us the devil knows us intimately. He's not supposed to be the equal to God. He's not supposed to be omniscient, all-knowing, and all-present and ever-present, all of this, because he's a created being, according to the biblical text. So how could the devil be equal to God if he's a created being by God, according to theology? And so there you go.
If we could backtrack back onto your Bigfoot analogy for a second, if you think about it, I think that humanity has that drive to be first in understanding and first in exploration and discovery. And I think in today's modern world, they don't want to undertake the actual scientific process before they come out and proclaim that they know exactly what's going on here. Like, let's say with the construction of the wood piles and such that Bigfoot could possibly leave.
Right.
When they see that, is it possible that a Bigfoot made those in the woods?
Possible.
It's possible, but they want to grasp at that theory being truth so that if it does further on pan out for them, then it's like I already told you this, 10 years ago, I was the first to discover it. So I think maybe that the scientific method in these cases has been accelerated too quickly. And I think that's just out of people's drive to be number one.
Yes.
You want to be the first to discover, but is it really a little too soon to come out and say? Absolutely. We don't know.
And it's not that I don't think like Matt Moneymaker, or, everybody got to know him through Finding Bigfoot, that series.
Yeah.
I don't think he's full of shit or anything like that. I just think he's got his theories. And I think it's like what you said. He's probably putting out his thought. This is his theory on how these things work. Don't we have a lot of that in theology? This is my theory. This is how, because you see, even theologians will go, well, no, that's not how it works. God does it this way. And, and things like that.
Right.
Susie Q here just said, I believe in the Great Spirit, a creator of the all. But as yin and yang, there probably is a true evil also. I'll be fawn on the way to the sacred mountain, and I'll offer Satan love, she says. Now, if Satan is a created being, didn't the Bible say God created everything and he said it was good and he sat back? Now, can it corrupt itself? Probably. That goes hand in hand with the question I asked a long time ago. I was asking, I think, Motherella, this question. If we go into the afterlife after this, and everybody has to go through and learn and do their things and rise to different levels, what about souls or spirits of people like Adolf Hitler? People like Joseph Stalin, Pol Pot, just pulling out names of big dictators that were responsible for the deaths of millions. Are these redeemable spirits in the afterlife? Is it just sacrilege? It's absolute human blasphemy to say that Hitler could be redeemable in the afterlife. Is that so? Does he stumble into the afterlife and go, according to the way some people think, whoa, that life was kind of shitty. I don't want to do that life next time. because we're told everybody has all these different lives they choose. Did the guy who became Hitler choose that life? I'm going to become, a pretty poor artist who couldn't make his way and didn't make much money till I'll get into politics and then I'll kill millions and try to take over the world. Did he decide that? Then does he go back to heaven or the other dimension and go, that was a horrible life. I want to do something. I want to be a monk in the next life or whatever. I want to help people in the next life. Did Hitler reincarnate? If he reincarnates, would he reincarnate as evil, or would he reincarnate because he chose to be something better? And then I said, those are questions I ask, not because I'm trying to excuse Hitler. Somebody go, well, you're an anti-Semite. I go, no, I'm not. No, my grandpa was a Semite. I don't have any problems in that area. I just question the spirituality and say, if everybody has another life, do they have another shot? Or was this just his shot and he blew it? No, he didn't even blow it. Maybe he lived the life he said, I'm going to do this. This is what I want to be in the next life.
I think you could take that concept and then extrapolate even further. Do we get to choose, or is it a predetermined, we all have to live certain lifestyles in order to gain the knowledge to ascend to the next level spiritually? And is that really our choice as to what life we're going to live? Or is it a decision that we make while we're in that afterlife or between stage?
Yeah. Robert V said those dictators were playing their part. He said, question is, did they really think they were that bad? He probably didn't think he was that bad. Hitler probably didn't think he was evil.
That begs the question, if it wasn't Hitler, would somebody else fill his spot? Is this world pre-programmed to follow a certain destiny where somebody else would just fill that role?
Yeah, that's a good question. Is that something, if there hadn't been Hitler, would there have been, Bob Smith or Schmidt, because he was German? So that's it's an interesting question. So
I think we do better at asking questions on this show than we do providing any answers.
And that's
and that's probably a great thing.
That's like the old song by Michael Card. He says, perhaps the questions are more important than the answers.
I agree. So, I think they are.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't think anybody can really say that they have the answer. So if they tell you that, they're probably lying.
Very true. I agree with that. The people who have the answers, all the answers, are the people I like to avoid.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've got the answer.
Right.
I would rather want to attach myself to somebody who is constantly asking the questions.
I agree.
Now, that doesn't mean there aren't people who, while constantly asking questions, haven't got their shit together. I look at the Dalai Lama. I don't care what anybody thinks about his politics or whatever. I think the Dalai Lama's probably got some shit together. But you know what he does? He asks a hell of a lot of questions too.
I think that asking questions, I think that you should just continue to grow. And the minute you stop asking questions and you just decide that you have the ultimate answer, that's kind of a dangerous spot in your life to be, because if you're not willing to continue to grow, then what are you doing?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Growth has to come through asking questions and not always getting answers, but at least getting perspective of what the answer could be.
Yeah, I agree with you. Let's see, what was that? I was going to put that one up. Oh, Teresa said Hitler thought he was a savior. That's very true. That was his approach. Somebody else said it was the people around him who ran things and pushed him into doing. Hitler's a lot like Joe Biden. Sorry to make that. I'm not making a Nazi connection there. I'm just saying, in the way they govern, maybe Hitler had his ideas and whatever. He was run by his people. And I think that's what you see in the current presidency. Totally different kind of thing. Sorry, folks, not making a comparison between Hitler and Biden at all. I'm making a comparison in governing style, run by the administration. So maybe for different reasons. So
that was a carefully worded explanation, sir. I commend you.
Thank you. It's like, we say things, Matt, you're a married man. We say to our wives things sometimes. We go, Now, I didn't mean to compare you to Betty, that whore
Yeah.
over there. I meant to say to the style of clothing you wear, not the lifestyle, or whatever.
Sometimes you got to fill that hole back in before you fall into it.
That's right. That's right. I just dug a quick hole, but watch this. I can back shovel that really quick.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. So, these are good questions. This is good things to think about. But then you still come down to, I always liked that passage, and I brought this up I think it was the introduction to my book on the Nephilim. I like that passage where it says, I think it was Elijah, the prophet in the Bible, wanted to see God. And it said, and so he went up into the cleft of the rock, cliff face, and was watching for God. And it said, and the whirlwind passed by, and God was not there. And he said, and the fire came down, and God was not in the fire. And whatever there was, the hailstorm, and God was not in the hail. But then there was that still small voice. And that still small voice, I think, is what spoke to him. Is that from the inside? Is that God imbuing that? And so I like to look at some of these things as saying, God for me has become the still small voice, the still, not even remaining as still, but still isn't quiet. The still, quiet.
Some may call that the inner knowing.
The inner knowing. There it is. And what do we do with that still small voice? Is there any time where you sit back and that still small voice says, you're not on the right path, dude. Or maybe you're thinking wrongly, or you're thinking backward. Or, hey, you're on the right path. You're thinking the right thoughts. Is that what that still small voice is? Is that God? Is that what people, and I blanch at some of this and I move away from it because it's too new agey for me, but that spark of God within us, that I don't think in those terms. I think of, is that God? Is God really us? Is God really? And I hate talking that way because it smacks of that old theology I never liked, that kind of, oh, God is just in all of us. We're all God. Let's join hands and sing Kumbaya. And there's no savior. There's no God in the heaven. And this goes back to when we were talking about the jinn, how the jinn called God. We don't have God the way you think. He's the originator. He is the one who created, but God is these other things.
I got to tell you that I really appreciate you doing that jinn series, because that was a very interesting take that I had not heard before. And it actually helped me kind of reestablish the same thoughts as the originator. I really latched on to that whole idea that, the reality that we're in flows from the originator. I really like that.
I agree. And that's what that series did for me. I didn't know any of that stuff till I did that series. I was researching, I was reading, and sometimes my research is in depth, weeks and months. Other times my research is, I see an article and I go, whoa, that's really interesting. I want to think about that. That's research too. Research can be a spark of a moment. Research can be years of exploration. So
it's a series that I went back and listened to several times over just to kind of gain all of the information that was in it. So it was a really good one. I appreciated it.
There's a lot of information there. I would like to get somebody on the show that knows more about the jinn. Maybe this is foolish to say this, but after reading the one guy's experiences and reading all about that, I thought I would love to have an encounter with a jinn, not to take my life or eat my soul, but to, something where I could encounter and say, don't scare the shit out of me. Just revelatory, show me something, tell me something. Then is the information I'm getting, is it truth? Is it deceit? Is it, whatever? But I would think an experience like that would be, when I was in Egypt, and there were days when I was down at Gebel El Silsila, John and Maria's site, and they were off working across the river over on one of the mounds. And I would wander down the west bank of the Nile and all the shrines, just took my camera and a little pack, and I'd walk out there and I'd be gone for hours. And I'd go on the East Bank too, where they were working. I'd just go way back up in the Rocky Hills, and I'd be looking for stuff, and there were times I was out there, and I thought, because we had the one Egyptian worker, I told this story, came running back on the West Bank, and he was all scared, and he was on the rocky hillside there on the side of the Nile, which the Sahara Desert is just beyond that. And he came running back to the boat and said he saw a jinn in the rocks, and he went down in the hold of the ship, started smoking shisha, and so did all the other Egyptian workers. They were gone for the day. They went all down in the hold. They would not come off the boat for the rest of the day. And then John and Maria both told me there was one evening we were sitting there, and it was getting dark, and he said, if you just look into the rocks, you'll see the jinn. There's a jinn out there right now. And I took some pictures, handheld shots. And you know how you take a picture in the almost dark and you keep the shutter open long enough. If you don't have a tripod, you can get it like illuminated. The whole thing's illuminated. And so I was getting pictures, but I didn't see anything in the pictures. But, that's, I would love to have that experience, because I'm tired of talking about stuff. I want to experience stuff. Now, it would probably scare me shitless if I were to have an encounter with a jinn, and the way I think about it, I hope, it's a jinn, it's female with blue skin and big boobs, wow me, please.
It might be a little easier to digest.
Yeah.
Look at.
I can handle that.
Right.
The
Not
blue
so
skin, you look a little cold, but hey,
you just have to be like in a Disney cartoon, right?
There it is, a Disney cartoon. You never had a friend like me. Dun, dun, wah, wah. I wonder if would a jinn appear and play that music for you? Nah, 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 wah, wah. Hey, you got 3 wishes. What would you wish for, Matt Finn, if you actually met a jinn or a genie and you had 3 wishes? What would you wish for?
That you just put me on the spot,
yeah.
That,
does my wife have to be here when I answer this?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right. You know what? Maybe I should consult the better half. What would I wish for? I think I would wish for.
Now, you don't have to be all high and mighty. Like, I would wish for world peace. It's like, shut up. Tell me what you'd wish for.
I would wish for a comfortable lifestyle for my family. So that would probably be good financial. Maybe pay off this sucker now that the bank owns me pretty much.
Yep. I know.
I would say that the business that I'm in, that we continue to be successful. And I don't know, man. A 3rd wish. I don't know. Can I bank it? Is that possible?
Yeah, bank it.
I'm thinking mostly it's just my family. That's all I really live for.
Yeah.
I know that's what you live for nowadays.
It is.
Maybe do some. I got it.
Okay.
Travel to many of the archaeological sites that I've always dreamed of being. Israel, Egypt, some places in South America. I would love to do that if I could just travel instantaneously.
Yeah, have a transporter,
right? Or be able to view the society at the time, and it's like pinnacle. That would be probably astonishing, and it would answer a lot of questions that we have today.
Absolutely. I've got my 3 wishes are well defined.
Oh yeah, see, I never
about this 3 years.
I never considered the 3 wish thing was going to come up, so I didn't bring my notes.
Yeah. It's like I've got mine all written down just in case it happens.
Yeah. I'll work on
it. I'm the astronaut on the island, and I open a bottle and a sexy genie pops out, like the old 60s series.
I'll work on my notes.
I had always thought the first thing I would ask for is, and it's all centered around family, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I would say I want 10 billion tax-free dollars in my account that I can use for whatever I want to better my family, to build my businesses, my ideas, to employ people, whatever. There's esoteric stuff in there or high and mighty stuff in there. But I thought I'd like to be comfortable for my family for the rest of my life. I don't want to have to struggle anymore. That'd be my first wish. The second one, I thought, and I said, I would like for my wife and I to be in perfect health, perfect shape. Not so perfect, like the evil Jinn who plays a joke that you're so perfect you have no antibodies. And of course you walk outside and in 2 days you're dead because you get sick of a common cold. Not that perfect, but perfect health, perfect shape, and everything good physically, and enjoy that. So you don't have to worry about, oh my God, I put on 40 pounds and I got to work that off now for the next 2 years or whatever, or my back or my heart or my hip I always thought if I ever got that wish, go to my doctor. My doctor says, hey, you don't have a heart replaced thing anymore. You don't have an artificial hip. How'd you do that? Blah, 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 whatever. It's all fantasy anyway. So and the third wish, almost the most important wish, I want a fully functioning starship, like from Star Trek, with a crew. And
well, you got a crew.
I got a crew. There you go.
Duh.
Pastor Finn, take us out.
Duh. So you're
second star to the right and straight on till morning.
You're halfway there.
There it is.
Right.
So I got the crew.
Glass half full, brother.
I just thought that'd be cool. I'd like to have a starship. I'm just trying to focus on which one I'd like. Would it be not the original Enterprise? It's become kind of a tub. It's old sci-fi. I want the new Enterprise, like Pike's Enterprise or something. Or that's the kind of starship I want. So
well, I got to tell you, your 3 wishes were a little bit more well-defined than my 3 wishes. So you got that.
I've thought about them a lot.
Yeah.
So the great wealth that I wish for, that would only be because I would love for my wife to live in the lap of luxury. I don't want her to feel she ever has to work. I don't want me, and the work we would do would be work. We'd take that and we'd invest. We'd put people to work. We'd do stuff. There's things I still want to start my comic book company, which was a 30-year-old thing for me. I'd still want to build the Shakespeare's Globe Theater and have a theater running and stuff. There's all kinds of things I'd like to do. My wife wants to have a hot dog truck called the Wiener Hole, and that's Rainey's wish. I want the Wiener Hole. So and a fleet of Wiener Hole trucks.
Make sure that you have a Detroit style Coney dog.
Absolutely.
On that truck.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I know I know you know a Detroit style Coney's.
I do. And I had not a Detroit style one, but I had some of my own the other day. Hot dogs and chili and onions and cheese.
Well, I'll tell you, I knew that I was following the right commander, let's say, because you don't do anything that's not honorable. And I appreciate you for that.
Well, thank you. I know my dishonorable things, and my wife knows my dishonorable things.
Well, we all have them.
My wife has anxieties. She's got anxiety issues. I mean, by issues, I don't mean she's tainted. I mean, she's got, some people have depression. My wife has anxiety.
I'll say this, Captain, that my wife also suffers from anxiety at times.
And my wife suffers from it. And sometimes I have to remind myself it's something she can't control.
Yeah.
Because when we have our worst moments is when she's at her highest anxieties.
I agree with that.
And I mean, man, my 20-year-old son sleeping on the couch for 2 weeks, my wife's anxieties went through the ceiling. Not because there was anything to worry about. It's there was another person, another body in the house and eating food and, being a lump at some days. And it's like her anxieties went through the ceiling for no reason. And it all got on me. It's like, I'm like, don't get your anxiety off of me. What can I do to help you? And assassinate your son. Okay, done.
I think the only thing you can do to help really at that point is just understand.
Yeah.
Because there's not much you can do or say that's really going to make anything right. That's what I've discovered. It's just you got to do the best you can. And I think
you.
Yes.
Go ahead. You had a thought going.
I think that for Rainey, it probably came out because she feels she's a very responsible woman. She
Yeah.
feels responsible for the family. So
Yes,
I
she
think by
does.
adding another person to that responsibility list,
Yep.
that's probably what triggered it, you know?
Yeah,
Even though
probably.
she's not responsible because he's a grown man, you know, in her mind, she's that mom mentality.
Yes. And I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
She's a very responsible person. She's a
Yeah.
very loyal person.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had our conversations where I look at Rainey and I've said to her, not because I'm the suspicious type or anything, but I've said to her on occasions, I've said, "Are you telling me there's somebody else in your life?" And you know what I mean by that. And I said, "Forgive me for asking." I said, "But the things you're saying, and so on, and it's all out of anxieties." And she said, "No." She said, "You should know that above me, everything else. I'm loyal, and I'll always be loyal." And I said, "Forgive me for even asking that question, then, because sometimes we process things differently as guys. We think like guys. We go, "Well, wait a minute. If you're saying that, does that mean you're leaving me?" No. No, that's not what I mean, she says. And we've so how do you process? Is that the way I was going to ask that question? When your wife has anxieties and you, in your greater mind, you can figure out my wife's having anxiety and here's the things I should respond to versus, yo, bitch, stop. How do you process? Because there are times where I'm not thinking this is my wife's anxiety speaking. I think you're being kind of bitchy to me for no good reason. And I try to not click into that first. I try to stave that off. Yeah, Susie Q is right. Guys always want to be the fix it, and we can't always be the fix it. And there's
It's true.
times my wife says, and this is so cliche these days, but my wife will say, "I just need you to shut up and let me talk."
Yeah.
It's not that I'm talking over her. My talking is, well, oh, you got this problem. Well, here, I've got a way to solve that. Let me hear. I've got a list right here of how we can solve that problem. And that's not what she wants to hear from me. She just wants me to shut up and listen sometimes. So there it is.
Well, I will say that I have had the same misunderstandings and feelings that you do, and it's really difficult sometimes to discern exactly where the anxiety is taking over and where
Yes.
there could be problems that you're not seeing in a relationship. And for me personally, I was a mechanic. I was in the problem solving mode. And so for me, I do struggle with that, where you constantly have to feel like there's a problem, we need to address it, and we got to solve it. And sometimes there really is no solution other than just letting that feeling subside. And it's a struggle sometimes to take that, knowing that you're the captain of the ship, and yet you can't change the course that we're currently on. And it's a difficult thing to kind of digest sometimes as guys. I don't think.
I don't know if you experience this, but my wife, I'm like, Rainey, let me be the dad. Let me be the husband. Let me be the captain of the ship. Well, if you're the captain of the ship, you'd act like one. And the temptation is to go, oh yeah, well, shut up. You want to see how fast I can make you walk the plank? Here, I'll give you a plank right now. Instead of going, here, let me get you a cup of tea. Why don't you go take a nap? Go. So blah, blah, blah. You get it.
I think sometimes the communication is key. Like for my wife, she's not that great of a communicator sometimes when she has the anxiety fits. And so I think that I need to do certain things, but she has a predetermined what she wants, but she just doesn't want to communicate it at that moment.
Right.
So a lot of times I tell her, listen, if you know what's going to make you feel better, then you got to kind of you got to communicate that to me so that I know what's going on and I have a better understanding of where these feelings are being generated from. It's not stress in our relationship or stress with the kids. It's just all of it together is causing you to feel that way.
Exactly. And it's just life. It's just, and guys, I always wondered, if God is the God that God says he is in the Bible, there's the questions I'd like to pose is, why did you make us this way? Why do we have to work so hard to understand each other? Life would be so much more enjoyable if we knew how to understand each other and work together and just get on with life, instead of life being the process of learning that. So by the time I'm 78 years old, I'm going to finally understand certain things about my wife. I will never dare say I will understand women, but
I would suggest that may be one of the purposes in life, though, is to find that greater understanding. And maybe that's what life is all about, is that you're never really going to know until it's almost too late. And at that point, you're old and, you've lived a long life and it's like, whatever. But maybe the questioning and the understanding and the learning is just a part of the process that we can't escape.
Yeah, exactly. Lucky Stone just said, my wife, do you want to go to the store? Me, no. And what she was really asking is, will you take me to the store?
And there you go. See,
male and female English.
That's right.
So, yeah, exactly. Roger Rabbit says, is there ever a line that gets crossed if you let them discuss and vent about a problem over and over again? The same problem days and weeks and years. Is there no desire for the problem to be fixed? Now, yeah, you answer that.
Oh, I was going to say that I just recently experienced this problem. My wife had a falling out with a longtime friend. And it was just that they kind of grew apart and went their own separate ways. And this falling out kind of had a precipice. And that was like 2 years ago. And I didn't realize that my wife at times was still kind of triggered by the feelings of their friendship falling apart. And so when it affected us, I misinterpreted that and thought that it was a problem between me and her. But in reality, it was that her feelings were triggered between her friendship. And I told her, obviously you need some form of closure. And I think that sometimes people avoid that closure because they believe that is when it's truly over. But I told her, your friendship, for now at least, is probably over. It's probably not coming back. And you're going to have to do something that gives you that closure so you just feel better about it and can move forward.
Sure. Yeah, and there's that. And my wife and I, we definitely have problems that are unresolvable. There's unresolvable things. There's things with her family and me, and things that she blames or I blame or they blame or whatever. Those are unresolvable things. The only resolution is to just let them go. And so we have our own stuff, and everybody's got their stuff. It's like, we don't broach that topic anymore because it's not resolvable. You live through it and you work through it and you leave it be. You don't try to solve it. Not all problems are solvable, nor should all problems try to be solved, So, there it is. What did Doug Stack say? You should have just told her, build a bridge and get over it.
Man language.
There it is.
Man language.
Man language. Yeah. What was the one? I put this post up the other day. Oh, a while back. Some meme about my wife, said something, and I told her, hey, just get over it and be happy. And he says, and that solves all the problems, right? Get over it. So anyway, there you go. I think we're working at solving these problems, Brother Matt. And so
yes, sir. Oh, you asked me earlier what my little car icon.
Yeah.
I have a 1975 Datsun 280Z.
Cool.
And that's what that
70,
is.
Did you say?
75.
75.
Yeah.
Back when I was in high school.
Yep.
And you too, no doubt.
Dad, can you get that?
Not quite.
No, not quite. Although
anyway.
I look younger than I am.
Oh, well, how old are you?
36.
36. All right. Well, you're younger than my wife.
I'm like the young crewmate. But I believe I was born an old soul.
And that's very possible. That's Now it's
Sorry, I'm
old
taking you
soul.
on a tour through the El Casa.
No, that's cool. I like seeing it. That's very cool.
The motion might make some people a little sick, though. Or it's scrolling by in the background.
Yeah. That's nice to see your house. That's that house you worked on for so long, and now you're in it. And it doesn't look as messy as my house, though.
No,
Oh, there's your garage.
Yeah, I'm in the garage. I was taking you over to where I got the car sitting.
Nice. I want to see it. So, are you out in the country, or are you just in? Oh, nice. I like that car.
It's a little dirty.
That's all right. I'd drive it. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm out kind of in the country. You're a little bit familiar with the area
Yes.
that I'm in, but it's kind of up the I-94 corridor.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you're familiar with that Selfridge Air Base.
It's, mildly.
Yeah, it was kind of that area about Lake St. Clair.
Yes.
So I'm kind of on the
Lake
edge of
St.
the
Clair
city,
area.
about a half hour north of Metro Detroit, I would say.
Yes.
So,
yeah. Well, Matt, it's great talking to you this today. I'm glad you took the time to come on in. Nice casual day out on the porch. Now, is this your car collection behind you, or?
Oh no, that's the wife's car.
Oh,
and
the wife's car. Okay.
I got another car over there too, but that one's a few years out.
Gotcha.
That was a high school car that I've had for a long time.
Nice.
Yeah.
And now you got the garage to fit everything.
Yeah, I got the garage to fit it all in, all the junk.
Very nice.
Don't judge me on my mess.
Don't judge me. Yeah, we have a friend that has offered us to buy his place, and it's actually right around the corner from Sarah Soderlin up in Pequot Lakes, which is so funny. I have more friends and family that are moving up in that area, but this is the guy with Lemon Squad that I worked with for years. He was a client and become a good friend, and he refurbished an old cabin up there and made it this gorgeous house, and out on a point on the lake, and just right around the dirt road is Sarah Soderlin's house.
I got to tell you, I really enjoy Sarah's show. She has an outstanding political view, and I really appreciate her opinion on a lot of stuff.
I do too, and she's got a reasoned opinion, which is why I like it.
That's right.
But my buddy had 2.5 acres up there in between his house and Sarah's, in the woods, kind of dirt roads, and he said, and he built this like 40 by 80 or 40 by 60. I think it's a 40 by 80 pole barn. And he's putting the concrete floor in and all the heating and all the elements. And he's got to build a house in it by ordinance. So he's putting in a 2-bedroom house into it. And he said, Scotty, it's going to be, he was showing me on the video, it looked just like what you're standing in right there. And
my garage.
You're still going to have a garage that's you're going to have about 30 feet of garage, and then the house and the 2 bedrooms. And he says everything in it's going to be top notch. And he says you can add on more bedrooms in the back or into the garage area if you want. And he was going to sell it to us. He said, I'll sell you this thing for X number of dollars, and you can pay me $1,000 a month on a contract for deed. It's yours. And the 2.5 acres. And the only problem is it's an hour and a half to 2 hours from Raini's family. And so, I'd take it in a heartbeat. But
how far is Raini's family now? Currently
45 minutes from us. Now we would be going there northwest of us, 45 minutes. Now going to his place would be straight north, about an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes north. And I said, Raini, that ain't that bad. And so and Sarah lives up there. We'd have friends up there. And so blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
I hope she considers it, because it sounds like it's not. We call those barn dominiums up this way.
Yes.
Barn dominiums. Yeah. When they build the house inside a big barn.
Yep. And so I was thinking that we'd have the huge garage space. We could throw on the shipping container add-ons in the back and things like that. And stuff like that, there's stuff to do. But anyway, blah, blah, blah. That's what walking through your house made me think of. So.
Hey, we all have to have our goals and what drives us. And you guys getting out a nice piece of property that you can do what you want with and develop the way you want. It's until you have it and you lose it, you probably don't realize how nice it really is.
Exactly. So, well, Matt, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to sign off here of the show pretty quick. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thank your wife for making a distant appearance.
Yeah, she didn't want to be too close. I don't want to get in trouble.
I hear you. All right, brother. See you later. Have a good day.
Hey,
all right, folks. You know what? We're going to probably try to wrap this up. That was a good, that was a really fun conversation with Matt. And so you see, Matt makes it look easy. If you ever want to call into the show, now you know how to do it. So, and we just talk. So thanks for spending your Sunday morning with me, for having coffee. It is now 10:51. We've been on for about almost 2 hours. And so I want to thank you for being here. And for the fun of it, we're just gonna go ahead and play our intro as our outro today. So guys, you know what? Have a fun day and live long and prosper.